Welcome back. A quick flashback. Hillary Clinton right here on CNN last July.
Everything I did was permitted. There was no law. There was no regulation. There was nothing that did not give me the full authority to decide how I was going to communicate. Let's take a deep breath here. Everything I did was permitted by law and regulation.
Well, not exactly. The State Department's Inspector General, in a highly critical report issued this past week, said Clinton never asked for permission to set up a private email server in her home. And had she asked, the report says, she would have been told no because of security concerns. The report also noted Clinton and her senior aides declined to cooperate with the Inspector General's review. Now, those aides have been interviewed as part of a separate FBI investigation into whether sensitive information was mishandled or compromised. Secretary Clinton says her interview hasn't been scheduled yet.
No, it's not. But I have offered since last August, and I am looking forward to seeing this matter wrapped up.
If you look at this report, it essentially says, and please correct me if you think I'm wrong, that all of her explanations about, well, it was okay and everybody knew and it was approved and this and that, no.
It essentially said the opposite of what she said last year, which is that this was not what she was supposed to be doing and that there were not rules on the books that permitted this to happen. And this is the problem for her with this whole matter. It's kind of a death by a thousand cuts. It continues to grow and grow because every explanation that she gives gets essentially negated by, in this case, an independent investigation from the State Department.
And this is about the 50th explanation that she's given on how she handled this, at least. And how she handled this particular investigation was interesting, too. She decided not to participate at all with the Inspector General and try to discredit the Inspector General instead. But it's curious because the report is, gives fuel to the fire that she has not been clear and not been forthcoming about what really was going on.
That is textbook, though, if you've lived as long as I have and covered the Clintons through these things. Her attorney is David Kendall, whose thing is, if you're going to be interviewed once. Don't be interviewed by the State Department Inspector General and then be interviewed by the FBI. Be interviewed once.
You might say something different. But the one other interesting revealing part about this report is a section where you learned that she had discussions with her staff about personal emails and how many places to do this. And her instinctive concern was, put it on two separate things because I don't want any of my personal stuff.
Right. She said it was done for convenience, and it's pretty clear from this report anyway, the Inspector General saying she did it to protect things.
Well, and this is another example of Hillary Clinton being her own worst enemy, and going out and saying what she did, but also this paranoia that has been part of being a Clinton since the 90s.
It could be justified.
But it's the harkening back to the vast right-wing conspiracy.
Right. And so we showed at the beginning of the program from the NBC Wall Street Journal poll when people are asked, I'm going to say, Trump is president, what are your thoughts? That's the same question. Hillary Clinton is president. What do you think about that? And we can show you right now up on the screen what people thought about that. Just look at how big that is. Just look at how big that is. Now, time for a woman president, that's favorable, but liar, not trustworthy, is giant there. And so it's an issue for her in the campaign, and guess who knows it? Donald J. Trump.
This Inspector General report was a real doozy. This was a bad report. This was page after page. And, it goes back to judgment. It goes back to competence. She's always skirted on the edge, whether it's Whitewater or whether it's all of these things.
Politically smart, right? Pile on.
Right. And Hillary Clinton has gotten off fairly easy on emails in the primary because Bernie Sanders was very clear that he wasn't going to make the emails themselves a centerpiece issue, even though he did try to make her trustworthiness a bit of an issue. Donald Trump is not going to play that game. He is going to if he thinks that he can gain traction for going after her emails, he will do it every day, and he will do it in a way that I don't even think any of us can really predict.
And it goes back to what we were talking about at the top of the show. I mean, if he can portray her as a typical politician, someone who you detest in a year where the electorate hates Washington, certainly that's going to work to his advantage, particularly that this is not done. I mean, the Inspector General report is not done. This FBI investigation is still ongoing. There will be presumably more developments, so the issue is going to really hound her until Election Day.